How many times have you picked up a weapon from a world drop and then just dismantled it without a second thought? Today, my intrusive thoughts got the best of me. What would it look like if you took one of these weapons that we've all dismantled over and over and over and made an entire build around it? Welcome to the first episode of World Drop Builds, where we take one random world drop and one random exotic armor and make a build that uses both of them. I'm going to take you through the build crafting process, and then we're going to rate the build based on these 4 categories. If the build ends up being really bad, then we'll fix the build and hopefully make it viable by using any other weapon or exotic armor, but we still have to stick with the original vision of the build. Alright, I hope you enjoy the video. Alright, so let's see what we got. Oh, okay, so yeah, I guess obviously if it's armor, I'll just reroll another one. Alright, so we got the combined action hand cannon with eddy current and volt shot. Okay, that's actually not bad. That's workable. There's some synergy there. Alright, let's see what we get for armor. Oh! Okay. Now, okay, this is actually something that we could work with here. But yeah, that's not bad. So I'm gonna make it a rule. If the roll on the exotic engram isn't great, I can use whichever roll I want. So let's just see if the one in my vault is better. I don't think so. Yeah, so we're just gonna use the engram one. But for the weapon, I have to keep the roll that's given to me as part of the challenge. Okay, so I guess with this build, we're kind of going for a keep amplified up as much as possible. So let's see what the fragments are that interact with amplified. I think with the hand cannon we will be just generating orbs with arc siphon, so defeating a jolted target makes you amplified. While you're amplified, your dodge recharges more quickly. We could do something with like Gambler's Dodge to get melees back, because I don't really want to do a combination blow punch thing with this build. I want to stick with kind of the spirit of having the Shinobu's Vow. So I think we want flow state for sure, just because of the amplified interaction. I'm gonna try Ascension. Let's just try Ascension. I think we want firepower because we have the grenades. Bolstering. The momentum transfer might be pretty good. Yeah. I guess let's just go and test some stuff. So first let's just see how eddy current and volt shot feels on this hand cannon, and then we'll see how it goes from there. Okay, so right off the bat, the reload speed and handling feel really, like, snappy. So we're proccing Volt Shot pretty fast on all these ads here. Let's just use the skip grenade and see how it goes. Get an orb there. Okay, it doesn't return too much grenade energy, it looks like. What does Shinobu's Vow say exactly? Skip grenade and returns energy. Okay, so my grenades give me amplified, which boosts my reload, and then I can start the whole volt shot chain. Oh wait, how do I use Ascension again? I think it's... Oh, okay. Alright, now let's look at some fragments. Arc grenades jolt. Okay, so that's how our arc grenades are giving us amplified. Feedback. Okay, feedback is kind of useless for us. That's pretty good. We get ionic traces with our volt shot. Oh, okay. I forgot about this fragment. Will be amplified all the time, pretty much. So beacons might actually be pretty good here. We're gonna need some arc heavy weapon. Let's see if I have one on me right now. Oh, wait a second. Wait, this might be really cool. So having the sword also kind of plays into the resist fragment. So again, there's some synergy there. So I know swords aren't really great for ad clear, but we kind of have good ad clear with our hand cannon. This is kind of just more like for fun factor. But it does give us some good DPS up close, like that. Now for, what do we want in our kinetic slot? So we already have good ad clear with the volt shot, and then we have good close range damage. Or like decent close range damage. So I probably want some longer range damage for the kinetic slot. Maybe Euphony? You know what, we could probably go with the good old Izanagi. Yeah, I forgot to put these on, but we're gonna put Arc Siphon on, just so we can generate orbs with our Volt Shot. And then also with our sword, we'll be able to generate orbs as well. And then Arc Surges, and I think Innervation's okay, so we can get our... It plays into the whole Shinobu's grenade thing we have going on. I think we're gonna go with Tempest Strike. It just feels a little better to me to use than Ascension. Okay, so it is now day 2 and I've had the chance to sleep on it, but last night I had a dream. In the dream, something was calling to me, but at first I couldn't see what it was. It felt like I was being blinded by something. But after what felt like searching for hours, a wave of realization hit me, and I knew exactly what I was searching for. Summum Bonum. So yeah, this is the Waveframe sword from the raid, and I think it'll fit really nicely with the build because the Tempest Strike melee is kind of like a wave as well. And also this gives me some range with the heavy. But I just think like for cool factor, this fits really well into the build. Let's see if I have one in my vault or not. Okay, looks like we're going to have to run through the raid again. So I know I could have just done a witness checkpoint, but I figured this would be a good opportunity to test this build in a raid setting. Moment of truth. So I only have 40 spoils, so I can only buy 2 of these. So whatever these rolls are, I'm gonna have to like go with for the build. Okay, so yeah, so none of these are like worth anything for like ad clear purposes, I guess, but at least this one is okay for DPS, I guess. Yeah, I don't know if I wanted to get like a chain reaction one or anything. I think we go back to the Legend seasonal activity, because that's like the type of activity where you would bring a build like this into. Unfortunately, in this footage, I didn't set up my audio correctly, so my voice is really quiet, but it's basically just me yapping about the gameplay loop. But there are 2 things that I added to the build. First, I replaced Innervation with Recuperation to improve my survivability since I'm generating so many orbs, and then I put Powerful Attraction on my cloak to make it even easier to proc Recuperation. Secondly, sometimes using a sword isn't an option, like with the Hydra bosses of this activity. You can replace the sword with a rocket or a grenade launcher and use them in conjunction with the Izanagi if you need ranged DPS, as you'll see me do. This also plays well into the handling boost that you get from Amplified. It's gonna put its barrier up, unfortunately. There we go. And my grenade is already like fully back, so I can get another round of Amplified. There we go. So this boss, again, and that's where I switch to the rocket. There we go. Okay, so some more time has passed, and I've been able to test this build in a Master Lost Sector 28 under power, also in the Salvation's Edge Master Raid, and in the Glassway GM. With that, it is now time to rate the build. Viability. At the upper end of endgame content, this is a hard sell. In terms of Arc Hunter, you're competing with combination blow builds, which excel especially in harder content, and for Hunter in general, Prismatic exists, and it has its own, arguably better version of the Arc combination blow build. Prismatic also offers an extensive variety of builds which can provide utility, such as Weaken and Radiant. That being said, outside of the upper end of endgame content, the build is pretty good. And I say upper end because raids are technically considered to be endgame, and you can easily use this in a raid, at least for ad clear encounters. The build was also solid in a Master Lost Sector at 30 light under. Anything else like dungeons, story missions, legend seasonal activities, and maybe even some GMs, it'll perform well. For viability, I'm willing to give this build a 6.5 to a 7. Fun factor, this is going to be a matter of opinion, but I'm going to give this build a 10 for the simple reason that I had fun playing it. I think a lot of the fun also came from the build crafting and using something that I wouldn't normally use. And sometimes I think we get so caught up in the meta that we forget that you can use almost anything you want in casual content. As I said before, casual content is where a build like this is made for. Versatility. With versatility, I'm looking at, can this build be used in many different activities, or is it really limited? Also, how flexible is the loadout? So I did start the build using a sword, but you can just use any heavy weapon if a sword isn't applicable in your activity, and same goes for the kinetic weapon. The only thing relevant to the build's gameplay loop is the Volt Shot hand cannon, which helps us get amplified. I do like to keep my heavy as an arc weapon though to make use of Spark of Beacons. We'll give this one an 8. Ease of use. The main part of the gameplay loop of the build is simply to get amplified, and you have 4 really easy ways to do that. Your grenade, your Tempest Strike, your Volt Shot, and getting rapid final blows with your arc weapons. Other than that, you're shooting your gun and you're swinging your sword. Ease of use is a 9. Overall, I'm gonna give this build a 7. It's perfectly viable in most casual activities and has a simple but fun gameplay loop. Here's the full build, and I'm gonna leave a dim link in the description. I hope you enjoyed the video. I had a lot of fun making it. If you have any suggestions for what I should do in this series, if I should continue the series, comment down below. Thanks for watching, bye bye.